Stormflight, Unit 5, Lesson 5. It's April in West Africa, and the weather is changing. For 6 long months the days have been hot, dry, and dusty. But this evening relief will come at last. As the sun disappears in the west, dark clouds rise in the east. Lightning flickers in their purple bellies, and every so often the air trembles with a muffled rumble of thunder. You stand on the veranda of your mud-walled house, excited that the rains have finally come. Other creatures are excited too. Beneath the houses, in the red dirt road, beneath the forest that surrounds the village, pale insects stir impatiently. Dark tunnels are filled with clicking of jaws, the scratching of tiny feet, and the soft rustling of millions and millions of shiny new wings. The storm slides over the village like a black quilt. A cool breeze springs up and quickly turns into a wind. Palm trees sway, dead leaves and bits of dry grass tumble through the air. The lightning is brighter now, and the thunder booms like cannon fire. A deep vibrating hiss approaches from the east. It's the sound of rain, a great flood beating on the leaves and the earth, coming closer and closer. It arrives all at once, dropping like a solid gray curtain, blocking out the houses, just across the street. It hammers the bare earth, turning gullies into streams and streets into rivers. You move farther inside the veranda as strands of red and silver lightning snake out across the sky, and deafening claps of thunder shake the walls again and again. With each flash, the world freezes in place for an instant. The leaves stop dancing and the clouds stop rolling. The raindrops themselves hang suspended above the ground. Then the thunder crashes and everything roars into motion again. The storm batters the village for half an hour until at last the wind dies and the rain tapers to a drizzle. Thunder and lightning recede over the western hills. You turn to go inside. Just then you feel a faint touch against your cheek, then a second touch, and a third. Something's happening. Peering into the twilight, you see what looks like a plume of steam shooting from the earth behind the house. Another plume spurts from the ground next to the wall. Taking a closer look, you realize that there aren't plumes of steam after all. They're plumes of insects. All over town and far out in the bush, winged termites are pouring from their nests. It's a rare public appearance, for these are creatures of earth and darkness. They keep to themselves, safe in the shelter of their mounds and tunnels, avoiding the sunlight and open air. Their soft bodies lose moisture quickly. If they stay outside too long, they can die. But termites, like all living things, are driven to expand their ranges, to spread over as much territory as possible. So once or twice each year, colonies produce winged males and females and send them out into the wide world. Tonight, conditions are perfect. The storm has brought a breeze, good for flying, and it's also softened the ground, which will be important later, after the travelers land. Across the countryside, tiny worker termites have opened tunnels to the sky. Now soldiers stand guard, waving their huge jaws as their winged brothers and sisters sail off into the twilight. As soon as all the flyers have departed, the workers and soldiers hurry back to the safety of their nests and quickly seal themselves in. Walking down the street, you sense the fluttering of insects around your head and the touch of their wings on your cheeks and arms. A vast movement is taking place around you. You feel it first before you see it. Then lightning flickers and you find that the village has been swallowed by a cloud of insects, a shifting sparkling mass that rests on the ground and rises into the darkness high above the treetops. It's as if someone has blown the seeds from the whole field of dandelions. Termites are weak flyers. Within minutes they flutter to the ground on all sides. There they break off their fragile wings and begin to search for mates. Some have flown only a few yards from home. Others have managed to sail half a mile or more. The farther they go, the better their chances of pairing with an individual from another nest, rather than a close relative. Having landed, a female termite stands still and waits for a male to come to hone in on her scent. When one does, she runs, and he follows close behind. Soon the ground at your feet is alive and these odd twosomes trotting head to tail in all directions. There are so many, more than you could ever count, and you worry for a moment that the world will be overrun by termites. Then a new movement catches your eye. A small toad hops about, lapping up insects with its sticky tongue. You realize that most of these flyers won't survive until morning. In your mind's eye, you see termites being devoured. Bats swoop over rooftops, lizards creep from darkened corners, driver ants swarm through the weeds, and fish rise to the surface of a pond. A feast is going on around you. If your ears were sensitive enough, the night would be filled with the sound of munching. But some of the termites escape their predators, finding suitable spots in the shelter of sticks or pebbles. These new kings and queens begin to dig in the rain-softened soil. Soon they'll be hidden away in tiny hollows, and there the females will lay eggs. Slowly new colonies will grow. New earthen mounds will rise amid the greenery of the bush. In a few years they'll produce seeds of their own, delicate flyers who will take to the wind in the twilight after a storm. Soon the only reminders of the evening's flight are a few glittering wings blowing across the ground. The rain stops completely. The thunder is faint and far away. As you walk back to the house, distant lightning flickers among the clouds and turns the puddles in the road to silver. And at the bottom, there is a box that talks all about termites. Termites are numerous and widespread. There are about 2,000 different species, and they can be found on every continent except Antarctica. Social. Each termite colony contains individuals of several castes. Each caste has a different job, and all work together for the benefit of the whole colony. Workers build the nest, look for food, and tend to the needs of the other caste. Soldiers defend the colony against its enemies. In some species, soldiers have huge jaws. In others, their heads are nozzle-shaped, and they can squirt poisonous or sticky chemicals. The king and queen may live 10 years or longer. Their job is to produce more termites. Some queens grow to the size of small hot dogs. They can lay more than 36,000 eggs in one day. Sometimes mistaken for ants. They're not closely related, though. In fact, the termites' closest relatives are cockroaches. They're terrific builders. Many termites make tunnels in wood. Others make huge nests out of soil mixed with their saliva or waste matter. Some African termite mounds are more than 20 feet tall. Termites are vegetarians. Many species eat wood, but some harvest grasses or other plants, and still others grow fungi in gardens inside their nest. However, at times they'll eat their dead and injured nest mates too. Only a few termites do damage to houses and other structures. Most are helpful, breaking down plant matter so its nutrients can be used by other creatures. Termites are tasty. Termites' biggest enemies are ants, but many other kinds of animals, including people, eat termites too. Some people who've tried them say they have a nutty flavor. The end.